Hello and welcome to episode 6 of It's Not the podcast from us here at TechRadar. And this week we're kicking off right away with our what if question. So the Bank of England this week said that 95 million jobs are going to go to robots in the next 10 to 20 years. I want to know what job you would like a robot to do for you. Mark Chaxfield.
Well, I think a robot could possibly serve me fast food. I don't think you need to be too ambitious. Or a robot could just huff at me. That'd be good. No, I think they could easily serve me fast food. Maybe not create it, but actually just deliver it when you're in the drive-thru. I think that would work quite well. But I wouldn't want a robot to say, make me a cup of coffee. I think
why not?
Because I think there's a little bit of love in that, isn't there? A little bit of human love in that sounds weird. Don't want too much human love in a coffee, but yeah, I don't want a robot barista.
Okay, Gareth Beavis.
I mean, first of all, Jack has just told us he wants a conveyor belt.
Yeah, but with a smiley robot face.
With hands.
Yeah, with hands, exactly.
Super hands. So for me, I bet to say it's controversial, but like this is going to be taken as gospel and going to happen. But I think I'd like a robot to do my job. Because
I'd like a robot.
It could probably do a better one quite easily.
Yeah.
Heyo!
Well, that's my point, right? Is that when we review phones and stuff, the thing we're supposed to be as objective as possible, which is technically impossible as a human person.
Right.
And all the commenters are very angry about how much we are shills for any other brand that isn't the one that's been talked
Some
about.
are very nice.
Yeah.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of anger about, you love XYZ brand. And so I'd like a robot to do my job for a little bit and see how objective a machine could be at reviewing a gadget compared to a human, and then we'll see.
But how would the robot have an opinion?
That's the thing. This is tapping into the wider problem of robots won't have an opinion. They'll be too objective, it'll be too boring.
But this is what people seem to want. They seem to want everyone to go, well, you haven't compared everything to blah, blah, blah. And the point is that we're reviewing, say it's the new iPhone. You're reviewing that based on millions and millions of people buy this. So you have to take that into consideration. You have to understand the algorithm of the entire human race of buying phones. And try and get your head around that as much as you can to understand as many people will read this review and enjoy this as possible. I could just write it for me and it's just a rant about I hate Apple or I love Apple, depending on what the thing is. It's the whole thing is to be as objective and as completely dispassionate as possible, it seems. People want that. So let's see what a robot would do.
That puts my burger robot maker.
I was going to say, I want mine to be a cocktail maker, to be honest. I think that'd be amazing in a bar, having a robot.
That did happen somewhere.
It probably, but it would go so wrong. It would be wonderful to watch them trying to throw glasses and bottles in the air.
Obviously the remake of Cocktail.
Or it could be incredible. They could be so fast at it. I'd just be like, I think that would actually be quite cool. I would like that to
What
be the
is
first
your
job.
cocktail preference?
That's a good one because I'd have to
Desperately trying to think of a robot pun.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Screwdriver?
Screwdriver. I said that, just for the record. I think that would be quite interesting. I do not want a robot. I mean, I think you all know by now I have problems. I'm quite fearful of driverless cars, so I would say I wouldn't want a robot driving me anywhere. I think I'm forever going to be against the idea of having anyone else take the wheel other than myself or another human being.
Yeah, like in a taxi.
So why don't you trust a robot over another human being? Someone that has human error?
Because they've got guns. Most robots have got guns. Right?
The ones I've seen in the films had guns and pretty good guns as well.
I've seen Terminator, he had a gun. That's pretty much it.
But you've seen Terminator 2. He used the gun for good.
He did use the gun for good.
Yeah. And Terminator 3 does a 3-point turn really, really well.
That's true.
So,
They'd be really good. They'd be very precise. I'd give them that. Yeah. I'm not going to go too much into this because it's a whole massive philosophical problem, isn't it? But I am fearful that I just don't think the technology is ever going to be perfect. You know what I mean? I still feel like the human response in a situation where you have to make that split-second decision, you're still taking into context everything that's going on around you, but you've also got your own kind of...
Yeah. So you're not doing it objectively?
No, but that's the thing. No robot will ever be objective anyway, because some robot's going to have to decide whether to swerve to save the child, to kill the people in the car, whatever. It's all going to come down to decisions. Putting robots in the charge of cars isn't going to get around those ethical problems. Okay. I'm going into a whole other area we weren't planning to talk about. I realise that.
But the one key question, right, is if you've got say somehow you could run scenarios of every crash that happened in a week, for instance. and you put a robot in each of those. Are you telling me that robots wouldn't have saved 99% of those crashes where people haven't been looking, they've looked the wrong way? Because robots have auto sensors, so they wouldn't accidentally hit another
You know
car.
what? Maybe when the technology is perfected, yes, but it still won't get around the problem of making those ethical decisions. Someone has to tell the robot which way to go in certain situations, whether it's utilitarian and saves the most amount of people, whether it considers the age of the people, those sorts of things. Who's right?
Cheese on the quarter pounder.
Absolutely. How much cheese, man?
Yeah,
where
exactly.
do you draw the
Imagine
line?
if they used that Microsoft "How old are you" algorithm that's really rubbish.
Subject is 250 years old.
Kill.
Hello, Susan, 42.
I'm really happy we lighted that up at the end.
Anyway, let's move on.
It's a dark place.
Pexi,
Hello.
your answer.
Yeah.
Oh, my answer.
That's very true.
I didn't actually come up with them. Because I thought I'd be asking questions.
There you are, just asking
What would
questions.
I want a robot to do?
Lean forward.
Lean forward.
Yeah.
Alright, this has got awkward. Let's fill the
Okay,
space
let's
with
go with that
something a bit
answer
more
then.
fun.
So, Star Wars Battlefront came out this week.
It did.
What do we think?
It is. It's
Have
out.
you have played it?
Look at this
Gareth
man's
has played it.
eyes.
Gareth has played
Gareth
it.
loves it. I mean,
Mark
Gareth's
has
the
not.
biggest Star Wars fan of
I haven't
all.
played it.
You played
I
for a
thought you
little
have.
bit.
Oh, I played the loading screen.
Which is still
That's-
quite good.
which is really
Let's
cool.
just
You
highlight
play as
that.
Darth Vader.
The loading screen, as you install the game, is
Yeah.
you just play as Darth Vader, just slicing up rebels. It's
It
great
was a
fun.
bit dull after about a minute though.
Yeah, but it's better than any other alternative install screen.
True.
So even in our own office, we've seen a lot of criticism that this is basically a battlefield that's skinned with Star Wars. There's nothing really completely
I
revolutionary.
don't understand
I don't
why that's critical.
Okay, I don't think that's true anyway, because I think it's got less depth. So the thing as I say about Star Wars is
You
now.
think it's got less depth than Battlefield?
I think it does, and I think it has less depth than most shooters out there. This is a thing. It's
Wow.
all and it's a criticism and it's a positive as well. It's all about that cinematic experience Battlefront. And honestly, right now I'm absolutely really loving it. But in a month's time, I probably won't be playing it. Right now, I'm really enjoying the kind of. I mean, like. It's the most Star Wars game that's ever made, and that's the best thing I can say about it. Like, it is...
Even more than Pod Racer on the PS1?
Oh, I love Pod Racer. But yes, this is more so than Pod Racer, because you actually feel like you're really in the heat of battle with, crisscrossing lasers, Darth Vader's cutting people up in the distance, you've got ships flying around you. It really feels like you're in Star Wars.
Is it canon?
Oh.
Is it canon? Well, yeah,
No,
it is
because
canon.
you die over and
No, it
over
is.
again as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
canon.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to play it then.
It is canon. It's all part. I mean, it's obviously timed purposefully for the new movie. So it's Star Wars fever's at all-time high right now. So it all makes sense.
So have you played any of the Force Awakens maps? Because there are certain planets that feature in the new film.
Yeah, no.
that,
So I
are in
think
this game.
at the moment I haven't personally, and I believe EA is holding some
No,
back for DLC.
Gareth is just agreeing with everything.
Gareth is
Absolutely no input from Gareth. I'm
Gareth
like,
doesn't even know
"Ooh,
what
really?
Star Wars is.
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars and games, I'm out.
Why can't they get along? It's been going on for ages.
What do you mean?
Star Wars.
They are getting along for the last 30 years, and then something happens when the Force Awakens.
What?
Mm.
Who cares?
It's been an
If it was
it's been
Star
an equal
Piece, I'll
party
be
for
honest, I
30
don't
years.
think people will be watching it.
Star
Yeah.
Piece.
Star Piece, yeah.
I had something else.
Did we see that with
Let
the
it
Trade
process
Federation?
it. Actually, that was pretty much Phantom Menace up to a point, yeah.
Star Piece, the Force is sound asleep.
So
Everything's okay.
Mark, do you want to play Star Wars Battlefront?
I definitely want to play it. The thing is, I must admit, I'm a bit of a loner when it comes to gaming. I like the story modes. I'm not too keen on.
You're not
You're not going to
Yeah,
have fun
with
here.
Yeah.
But this is the sort of game where I'm like, yeah, let's get in with a load of people I do not know and
But also-
laser the hell out.
That's cool.
Also, the split screen mode is quite good. Like, this is a game, like, we're moving away from split screen
That
gaming.
did look a bit hints of GoldenEye. I thought it looked
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
said that, and I think that's fair. I did feel, and like, there's a couple of the modes you can do where you're doing co-op, as well as fighting against each other, and it really does, bring back those memories of just playing together in the same room. It's quite nice, and I miss that in modern day gaming.
Yep.
So you had some, would you say you had some feelings on Battlefront?
I think Gareth has, because you've been
I think
talking
Gareth's
all
got
the
a
way
lot of
through.
opinions. He's been
it,
nodding
so-
along, so he obviously knows what he's talking about.
So-
So how would you sum it up?
If you were to put it in an emoji, what emoji would that be? Your feelings on Battlefront?
Roller coaster.
A roller
I
coaster.
don't
Roller-
is that actually one of the emojis? I don't even
That's a
know.
roller coaster emoji, yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Surely it's just a car of the roller coaster, not the actual entire roller coaster.
No, it's just a roller coaster car going down a roller coaster.
It's interpretive. Anyway, I feel like this is a
Willing,
segue.
not
I feel like this is a segue into something else.
So, an emoji has become word of the year.
I actually
No.
didn't. I forgot about that, and now I feel properly used.
You have been segued.
I forgot that was the next
It
thing.
serves you right for just going, yeah.
I was trying to get involved because you tell me off for not liking games enough.
But you can't do that. That's not words, as an emoji is.
So
Speaking of which,
Screw you guys.
the smiling face with tears of laughter has been named Word of the Year.
What is it?
The smiling face with tears of laughter?
Tears of joy.
Sorry, tears of
And
joy.
it's also just face with tears of joy. Give it.
Is
some
it?
name.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But it's
now
smiling.
he's in his zone.
There we are.
Yeah.
Emojis is where Gareth lives and breathes.
So Oxford English Dictionary have put that as Word of the Year after Omni Shambles and I can't remember what the
I
others are now.
love Omni Shambles.
You
as well,
wrote the
though.
story.
it is a good one.
I don't get this. This
You don't
really
get this?
no. I think this is just
So the actual emoji is the Word of the Year. It's not the phrase of
yeah.
with tears of joy. So the actual face itself
The logo, the
is the emoji.
image.
So I spoke to a linguistics professor at Bangor University who's done a lot of research and stuff
Get
around emoji, and basically he says that.
Did you know him from childhood or something?
No.
Or was he a family friend?
No, he's not a family friend.
Okay. I'd imagine.
Why would you say so?
That's what posh people do.
Right. Okay.
It does feel like linguistics runs through your family.
Yeah. Uncle Linky.
Let's just leave that way.
Okay.
So he's saying a lot that basically emoji have become their own punctuation in text, and it's unsure whether they're a word, whether they're a type of words, or whether they are punctuation. It's still in that kind of middle ground.
So like a fun,
Wow.
fun full stop.
So basically, text speech is clearly. You get the angry joke from phenomenon. I cannot say that word. Phenomenon. Where you send an email and then someone else reads it on the other side and they're like, you just sound like an absolute tool. You just sound like the angry jerk. So if you put a smiley face on the end of it, you're like, that's clearly that they're joking around or whatever.
Or a J, as it comes
So
in most emails.
Yeah.
So in Oxford English
It took me
Dictionary is
ages
trying
to figure out what J was actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was.
Yeah,
the emoji
yeah,
didn't come through.
Yeah.
I just saw it as people signing off with the name.
It's Google
J.
Mail, right? It has a problem.
Yeah,
with
Just
it.
all emails that
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
And that's one of the other problems. Like between iOS and Android, if you send like the dancing woman on an iOS phone, it comes
Flamenco.
through to an Android phone as this weird little dog kind of thing dancing. So there's a kind of misinterpretation there because you could send that as like, I was dancing with a lady the other night, but instead it comes through on the other platform. It's a weird dog thing. Like it's that kind of. It's really interesting that.
Is that how you would say that? I was dancing with a
Yeah,
lady.
when you just type.
Probably
"I'm
not.
dancing with a
Probably
lady."
not. But
Because there's no
you
way
can
you
apply
can-
that to other emojis. So like the smiley poo emoji, that comes through.
Which we have here in the studio.
We do.
on
Loose
that,
studio.
That comes through on other platforms without the smile.
Yeah.
So you could be like, "Hey, I'm really happy poo," but it comes through as just like
As we all say
poo
once
with,
a day.
poo with flies around it. It can mean an entirely different thing.
So does this
what
mean
you actually send can mean something
we're
else?
going to have that emoji in the Oxford English Dictionary? Are they
No.
actually going to print it?
No.
So this
not
is
yet.
where it falls down completely.
Yeah.
And this is just the OED, I'm guessing, trying to get a bit of advertising for their latest dictionaries.
Advertising.
You've got to
Sales are up on
Surely
dictionaries.
you don't count the whole thing then.
People still buy dictionaries. They
Word
want
of the
that
year
to-
is still a really, really popular thing. Like
Yeah,
when
I
Omni Shambles
agree.
came up, there was still
This
as much
isn't a
talk about
word.
it.
That's why they're doing it. Just
But
to-
it's language,
They're
and
doing it for
language
people to speak.
transforms. That's
Language
the thing.
transforms.
If we have words like Omni Shambles and all these other weird words that are coming out, surely pictures are only kind of the next step. It seems weird to say, but it is. Those images represent me. That face with the crying, I hate it. It's so
20%
Smug.
of emojis in the
Pictures
UK
were
are
the
that,
first-
exactly.
It's but so many people use it. and it
Pictures
means
were the
something.
first step with cave paintings. Why
We're
are
going
we
back,
going
mate.
back
We're going
to
full
pictures?
circle, and I'm fine with it. To be honest, I just want to get rid of that smiling, crying face because it looks so disingenuous. It looks so
A
smug.
bit like you.
I hate it.
Face.
Yeah, it's just a reminder of my
Just looking
my
in the mirror
bald
at the
head.
time. An emoji.
But yeah,
Round, bald head.
The thing is,
weeping.
I agree. We all do. I think everyone has used emojis.
Yeah.
We do use emojis. WhatsApp is full of them. We do it all the time. But I just don't. I just think there's a bit of a misstep from the Oxford English Dictionary. I don't
we'll
still
see
think
in
it should be
100 years' time when we're all speaking in pictures.
Yeah, I don't give it a
See what
thumbs
John
up.
Malkovich says.
Yes, just to put that in context, John Malkovich is making a movie that is not going to be released for 100 years.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to not seeing that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh, you might
Including
be.
him.
Yeah.
That's a real shame. And surely someone has already seen it because it's been edited. So the
Well,
director's
yeah,
seen
someone
it and
has.
everything. It's
Yeah.
just
Well, they probably
the public
silenced
screening's not
it
going to
and-
happen for 100 years. So
But
someone has seen
maybe
it.
they've got a 100-year-old man to do it who's about to die.
But he's still seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
but-
still alive.
But he'll be gone, and then it'll be like, there's no one left.
Okay.
Anyway.
So
Interesting.
what's your favourite emoji then?
Oh, we're still talking about emoji. This is getting.
I like the frog. I use the frog a lot.
The frog is good.
Frog's great picture. That's probably it. I'm not a huge emoji user. And when I do, they're kind of meaningless. I just throw them at people. Like, this doesn't mean anything. I'm just giving you emojis. But
I'm the same. That 100 I used for a long time before realising what it meant.
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
Just 100%, like, well done.
Yeah.
All good. Quite dull, really.
we get it a lot on the
So I
YouTube.
agree
Actually, essentially, we get that a lot in our YouTube comments.
Really?
So, yeah, someone says something and then the little hundreds appears.
Oh, okay,
it is,
cool.
you know.
Interesting. So, YouTube comments.
Oh, speaking of comments,
We're back to
great segue,
Hugh
great segue.
Langley's comment spectacular.
Oh,
Have we thought of a name of this yet?
Hugh Langley's
Well, it
comment
was going to be
spectacular.
That's a terrible
YouTube.
name.
It was going to be YouTube, but the problem is they're not always going to be from YouTube, so it doesn't really work. I'm working on it.
I like
It's a
YouTube.
work in progress.
I like it.
If you want to put a name in the comments, that would be great.
If anyone wants to suggest a name for this feature, which is kind of a bit all over the place, then please do.
So, you're going to come with us. You're going to come to us with some
Yeah,
comments.
so I'm just going
Come
to
with
hit
us.
you with some comments.
Come with us if
Now,
you
these will
want
either
to
be
live.
tweets, Facebook comments, or story comments, and I want you to tell me what the story was
They
referring
can be
to.
tweets now.
Does this mean I have to have read TechRadar?
It does. You have to know what you're doing at work, yeah. Okay, so the first one, let's start with an easy one. This is pretty easy. So Stephen Reed, he tweeted at us.
Used his actual name?
Yes, we're allowed to, it's public.
No, he uses it.
Oh, right. Yes, absolutely.
It's not like
Yeah.
Stephen Man Machine.
No,
42.
this was a tweet, so it was his
And
name.
Mushy.
I don't know. That sounds a bit weird.
So it's a pretty simple one, just hashtag Tron. Hashtag Tron. What was she referring to?
Tron.
So that would have been something kind of electroluminescent-y.
The skin story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The electronic skin healing.
Yeah, you're all wrong. It was HP's notification watch, which
Oh,
did
fair.
actually look quite like a Tron watch.
It
I'd
did
like
look
to
Tron,
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool story.
So, Sam Lee on Facebook says, I can tell throttling might be an issue. Discuss.
So through bandwidth.
4K streaming.
Oh, Sky Q.
Good guess, but no.
Okay.
Is it not something car related?
It's not.
No, don't be
Do
silly.
you know what throttling means?
No idea.
No.
It was about the tiny Skylake home theatre PC from Intel.
Why did I miss that?
Look, I read the headline of that and I didn't read the story.
Well, you should have done, and the comments.
you regret
So
that.
this is actually one of my favourites of
Ever?
the week, and I'm going to give you the first part. I'm going to guess it, and I'm going to read the rest. This comes from John Doe.
Can you give,
John Doe. That's
John Doe.
In our comments.
can we have a voice approximation of what you think?
Yeah, I'm
it
going
might
to do a
sound
voice. I'm going to do this. Oh, people complaining about these frames are so racist. This is part of Japanese culture. Stop being so racist.
like? Frames.
I'm going to say,
Frames. Talking about frames as racist. So
frame rates or frames?
frames.
I'm going to say emoji becoming word of the year.
No chance.
No. When do you write about frames?
People
Where's-
complaining about these
is it-
frames are so racist.
where's
This
it
is part
from?
of Japanese culture. Stop being so racist.
Where's it from?
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
this
no,
is.
like
No.
which medium? Sorry.
Oh, it's from.
Medium
it
of
was an
doubt.
article on.
So it's comment.
on the
okay,
actual
right,
site.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting, isn't it? I'm trying to stall for time when I think of any story.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's all
ticking.
we've ever done.
I went through every story this morning as well.
Okay, I'm going to tell you because I really want to read out the second part of this comment, which is amazing.
Okay.
So the story was Street Fighter 5 losing the crop shots.
Ah.
It was an opinion piece on whether this is a good thing for gaming. And the second part of his comment was also. No one plays Street Fighter for the combat. It has terrible combat. It's like buying Fallout 4 for the graphics. Now, he was onto something with Fallout 4 there, but no one plays Street
the
Fighter
fighting
for
game,
the combat.
Street
I'm just going to go out and spend 40 quid on a fighting game, but not for the combat.
So
No.
basically, he's buying. He's like, I'm only here for the crotch shots.
Pretty much, that's what he's pretty
He
much.
might be there for the plot. I love that they try and shoot.
Yeah.
My
the
hope
plot
is
of
that
the
he's just
plot.
trolling us all together, but I don't think he is.
Classic JD.
Can you do his voice
John
again?
No, but I can do one last one, and this
Ooh,
is
bonus question.
I like this because this is haiku of the week. It was written as a haiku.
Hi, who?
Haiku, yeah, that could work if we get any more haikus, which is unlikely. So this is from Dr. Stephen Falcon, and it's
Amazing.
written out as a haiku, not intentionally, I don't think. But
Is it Falcon or is it?
It's Falken.
Yes. Yeah, he's
So, yeah,
he's a
everyone.
regular commenter.
So I'm gonna read it out as
Great
a
name.
haiku. Yeah.
That's
So
fine. Great name.
one could also say we're paying too much, but I agree that they're doing a top-notch product. I'm not even thinking of changing brand.
That's not a haiku.
3 lines is a haiku.
It was 575 as a haiku.
Yeah, but I'm
syllables.
not getting into syllables.
It's just a 3 lines poem.
Yeah, and it was spaced out.
It's a 3-line comment. That's it.
Whatever.
I
No,
wasn't
but it was
listening.
like spaced out, so it looked.
I wasn't
a bit
listening. Start again.
Can you repeat?
One could also say we're paying too much, but I agree that they're doing a top-notch product. I'm not even thinking of changing brand.
Oh, it's the iPad Pro.
I'm
Easy.
going to say iPad Pro review.
You going iPad Pro?
No, it's more kind of the review, is it? Or is it?
I don't know. Read between the lines. It's poetry, mate.
Yeah. It's iPad
It's all
something.
about where the gaps are.
It's not. It's actually Apple making 94% of smartphone profits
Yeah,
globally.
Wow.
Which I believe is also an amazing segue to the next
Well,
section.
yeah, you just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Apple took 94% of smartphone profits last year. Is that a good thing, Gareth Beavis?
Well, see, let's reverse this because we've got 94% and then confusingly 11% of profits going to Samsung.
Right.
But the reason for
Great.
that, is because HTC, LG, Sony, all the others are making a negative profit, which means they are giving money back to the game. And that's the bigger worry. Like
Right.
maybe you're listening to this on an iPhone or a Samsung phone, in which case you're like, great, good times. If you're any other manufacturer, any big other manufacturer, then there's a chance in 5 years they're gone. There's no LG phones, no Sony, no HTC. You've just got a 2-horse race with possibly some Chinese guy in there as well, making an extra differentiator. That's not enough. That's terrible, and that would be awful.
So is it the phones themselves? Is it the marketing?
It's a mixture. The phones themselves. HTC was doing onto a really good thing. HTC One, One M8, both really good phones. And as you saw in the thing, the profits were starting to creep up. They broke even at M8, but then
That's still depressing, isn't
the
it?
One M9 it's a small company still, HTC, and they don't put enough into marketing. They don't do the right marketing. They don't sell the phone in the right way. Everyone knows that. And the One M9 wasn't well received, and that was it.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But also, Apple just has
shame.
massive profit margins.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
insane. Like how
This is the thing, right? A lot of people get really angry at Apple. They say, it costs too much, it's too high a price. And it is. You get a lower res screen on an iPhone than pretty much any other top phone, and yet it costs more. And I'm like, you review it and you get annoyed. You're like, this isn't fair. And you're like, well, people keep flipping buying it.
This is our
We're doing it to ourselves. That's the
So
problem.
why are you blaming Apple? If everyone stopped paying the money for this stuff, then people would...
Yeah, they're business people. They're doing what business people do. They're not going to just lose money for the sake of it.
This financial officer comes in and goes, well, we could make less money on this, guys, and everyone would feel really good about us. Or we could just keep charging this much and people will still buy it. I don't know what to do.
But then the thing is, they make up for that with their, like you said, their very good marketing campaign, which they are. They're very good at adding personality to their company and not making them seem so evil, even though there is this perception that they are just grabbing money.
Well, it's the thing. The marketing's good, obviously, and the kind of the Apple ethos and the magic and everything. A lot of people agree with that. But if you think about it, a smartphone is the only thing that people really get excited about. Or not just that, people
Says phones and tablets together.
Yeah, but everyone has an opinion about a smartphone. Even if they hate smartphones, they don't want the iPhone, they don't think it's for them, they know about it, they know about this thing. And that's the thing about smartphones, because Apple doesn't need to do anything because it makes it very easy. So you don't get any other product where everyone's disengaged with it. So they want something that just works and they know is good. And that's what Apple does. And I don't think it's necessarily the best on the market by a long way, but I think people really resonate with that. People aren't techie, but
there's
they
a
want
weird
good
thing
tech.
with phones as well, where you're not really, well, unless you pay upfront costs, but you don't really pay for your phone, do you? That way, so you get it for free, and then you pay your monthly
not an iPhone.
tariff.
You can get it for
You can get
not
it within
much.
But you would pay a lot more per month to get it for free. And also, that's just the UK. You've got to remember, around the world, it's a very different.
But a lot of people don't buy the iPhone straight out of Apple, do they? They do get it monthly, and that's the thing, because...
But they still pay up front for the contract more than any other phone when it comes out. It's way more expensive to buy an iPhone.
But I'm just saying, on the whole, people get these products essentially for free that they're paying monthly.
I see what you mean.
So
when you go into a shop, you're not thinking like a £600
Yeah,
phone.
the investment isn't there. So you're not going, I need to pay 600 quid, so I really need to kind of go, actually, maybe this HP laptop's better than this Dell one. It isn't there. You kind of go, Apple, I've got to pay 50 quid up front. Whatever, it's 50 quid. Then I'll pay monthly and it's fine. So,
but you're still paying more per month. You're seeing
but it's not. It's still not. It's that perception.
It's
Like
psychological
going and
perception.
seeing £600, whatever. That's a lot of money. You got to think that's a big amount of cash to be paying with right now on the spot.
Yeah.
Rather, if you look at it as, okay, I've got part of a bit of cash. Pay, a little bit per month, but
it makes the decision easier.
I was recently looking at contracts, and I fell for that same thing as well. I was thinking, I didn't add it up, and I thought, actually, if I bought the phone outright, it would probably be cheaper.
Yeah.
Way cheaper with Apple.
I don't think that. I just see the numbers, and I think a lot of people do the same. I think most people, when they go buy a phone, just see those numbers, and they're smaller numbers. So.
it'd be a lot...
The price is going
They are
really high.
definitely smaller numbers. But I think if you had all the phones there and they're all 600, 700, 800 quid, I think you'd see a bit of a difference. I think
You
people
would.
would
I
actually
100%
go,
think you would.
you know what, I might actually go
Because
to
then you'd look at the
HTC.
specs, like you said, you'd say the phone, the screen resolution wouldn't be...
So what can Android manufacturers do to combat that? Is there anything I don't think there personally is. I don't think there's anything
It's a symptom of Apple's end-to-end control as well. This is the problem. Android manufacturers can only do so much for their phones, but Android is obviously a separate beast. They run Android, but so that's partly Google, and Google has improved its marketing somewhat. But again, that's just advertising Android. I think it's partly down. My personal opinion is that a lot of this is down to the relationship with Google and the manufacturers, which Apple doesn't have to think about. And I know we sometimes criticise Apple for its walled garden and everything, but actually that has done it favours here in terms of like.
I think they have to work harder with Google to make it feel like a really, really proper ecosystem. Because that's the thing. You buy into the cult of Apple. You don't buy into the cult of Google. They need to really.
But that's what people like about Android. They like the fact it's not as closed in that kind of way.
Again, no, they don't. This is the thing. You're talking about the enthusiast again. You've got to talk about someone who just needs a new phone. They're trying to decide what to get. They don't really give a flip about. I couldn't think of anything other than
give a flip phone.
I went through 7 different swear words then. But no, what needs to happen is Android can't. The thing is, people keep trying to differentiate and do new stuff, and all it means is they make them more powerful, more battery hungry, more feature rich. We don't need that anymore. I'm really worried. I think there's nowhere to go left other than design, and we're topping out a design now. So
we're doomed.
Wow.
Yeah, I genuinely think there's a problem, and I think that's why everyone talked about this in February was. You need this connected ecosystem. That's why connected homes are really important. TVs, everything around it. Samsung's got its smart thing. Sony's really pushing on its entire ecosystem. That's what they need. They need to get people into brands. And that's why HTC is in real trouble. And it's a real shame because they make the best phones.
Do you think that's why Apple held the watch back a while? Do you think because it knew it still had some way to go on design and improvements? I mean, the next iPhone, I think you're right, it's going to be design. There's not going to be much more they can do there. But they held the watch back until, this year, right? So I feel like they put it out at a perfect time where the phones can't improve that much more, like dramatically. So now's a good time to put another product on the market and get that hyped up instead.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Apple Watch was probably a bit early still, but Apple was losing ground because there was already too many going to the market. That's why it announced it and then launched it 6 months later, just to kind of stop the Christmas rush.
Yeah.
Apple's always given itself loads of leeway. It can make a better camera still. It can do much better on battery. It can make a higher res screen. It can do all this stuff where all the other manufacturers have topped right out now. So yeah, I'm genuinely worried about it, and it's a shame. But
you crying?
Yeah,
Not little
tears. Can you get an iPhone in Russia?
God, me personally.
This guy's on the segways today.
Question of the week, people. Question of the week.
Well, you can now.
I'll be honest, that was terrible, but go on.
I needed to wrap that one up.
I'm glad I said that really low so nobody heard.
People are going to go back.
These mics are pretty
sensitive.
sensitive.
About 10 seconds there.
Yeah.
So we've heard news this week that there is going to be a Tetris movie.
Oh, yes.
What?
It's going to be better than Pixels. Well, we hope.
Right, anything is. This is better than Pixels.
This is different to the other Tetris movie we've heard of, which is going to be based on the game. We've heard of that.
Yeah, this is the biopic.
This is a biopic of the guy who made Tetris. I'm going to try and say his name. Alexei Pachinov?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah? Okay, easy. So...
Why don't you write phonetically?
So this is. I think a lot of people saw the headlines yesterday. Were like, "What? They're making a Tetris movie? How ridiculous!" And it's
Brett Ratner and some blocks.
Yeah,
for 90
it's
minutes.
not a good cocktail, right?
No, unless they're falling on Brett Ratner's head.
But we know this weird board game trend is something that Hollywood's started turning into. Like, we had battleships. And yes,
Tetris the board game.
Games, whatever. But there was this thing last year about there being a Tetris movie about the blocks. Okay, a sci-fi epic they called it. This is not. This is about the guy who made the game. It's about it's a social network. Think more like along those lines. And it is a really interesting story about how it was made. He works with the company under the Soviet that was owned by the Soviet Union, and the game was actually sort of. Spoiling the movie, so it was shared sort of within the company before it went out, and then Nintendo got it licensed, and he didn't get money on it until I think about 1996 or later. And so it is a really fascinating story. So absolutely, I just don't know about having Brett Ratner.
Yeah, is he going to turn into like a Rush Hour
he's producing
style?
it, yeah. So he's not. I don't think he's directing it yet. We haven't got a director, but it's been done with him and James Packer under the Rat Pack, their production studio, which they share. So. We don't know any more yet, but it's
Gareth,
quite interesting.
Would you like to see the Tetris biopic?
See, the biopic sounds fine. That sounds like a good story. I don't understand this. I don't understand more how someone at Hasbro, for instance, must be an absolute genius. How on earth did they sell battleships as a story? Because the thing is, I watch battleships and it's rubbish. But
Battleship.
Yeah, there's only one.
Okay, right. But the thing is, you could have made that film without Like it's about
No, yeah,
ships.
no, it's-
So I'm like, so why did somebody? How does someone convince a Hollywood studio to do that? Because the only bit that makes it Battleship is when they do the weird ass. Oh, hit, missed, we fire without lasers and stuff. And which is completely
Just stick
unnecessary.
Rihanna with it and
I
it'd be
think
fine.
it's part of Hollywood's original, screen problem at the moment, where it's doing a lot of sequels and reboots, and this ties into it because if they can just hook it on something, the people know, oh, Battleship, I play Battleship, let's
But
go see
the
the
thing
film.
is, that's so crazy.
It's
Battleship-
crazy.
but
It's tenuous.
Would that be that would make me not want to go and see it because I'm like, how have you done
Well,
this? If it's a film
yeah.
like Liam Neeson does ships, I'd be like, I'm watching that.
Yeah, but you
That's
can
a much better title as well.
Yeah,
Liam Neeson does shit.
that would not. But there's
Wherever-
meant to be a
wherever you
Monopoly,
are, ship, I will
a
find
Monopoly
you.
movie as well, and I believe a Hungry Hippos
I
movie.
kind
I
of
really
like
hope
both
this
those
was trolling,
ideas.
but I think it's
I
actually
think Hungry Hippos in the
be
style
nice.
of Lake Placid or something might be quite cute.
that would be funny.
Really, yes.
Yeah, you got to go more Sharknado
Yeah,
with
you
that
do.
than
And Monopoly could work
Then
in
the-
the like Wall Street kind of vein. It could like
Yeah.
if you go that kind of route with it.
But
then-
Gareth's right. Then why call it Monopoly?
Yeah,
You might as well just
entirely,
call it
yeah.
Wall Street 3 or whatever. Like it's not.
Well,
Yeah, it's
something
these
else.
tenuous hooks that I think Hollywood seems to feel like it needs to make because
Yeah.
if it just made an original movie about Wall Street that wasn't Wall Street, people wouldn't go see it.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the problem here. But it is completely ridiculous. However, the Tetris movie, I generally think the biopic would be quite good
Great.
under the right direction.
Yeah.
I feel like you've done
We
well there
need
and
we
covered
need
it well.
Aaron
Yeah.
Sorkin to come back and
You
write
do.
it, 'cause
He's
not
the sort
sick
of
writing
person that
biopics.
could figure out the blocks and put them all together.
Yeah, I wasn't going to make a blockbuster joke, but
Oh, and then you went.
then I went. and
He
did
is
it.
the foreigner line that we need.
To get away from this, we're going to take a trip to the Hall of Fame. We still haven't
Ooh.
I want to call it the. I was thinking about this.
had. Right.
I don't know
We
how.
may have
what-
a name.
I don't know what to title it, but it definitely needs. Everyone's got a gadget drawer, where you chuck loads of odds and ends and things. Like there's old phones,
Yeah.
there's cables.
All the
Could it-
cables.
Yeah, could it
But
be
loads of rubbish stuff as well, not just the good stuff.
exactly
Yeah.
the magic gadget drawer? I feel like we should call this.
Magic,
The magic gadget
drawer.
drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the magic gadget drawer. At the moment, we only have the Nokia 3310 in there.
Like most magic gadget drawers.
I don't,
He's got you there.
I don't want to call it the Magic Gadget drawer, by the way.
I'm
Can we-
fine with it.
you
Overruled.
find-
Yeah.
If you agree, we should call
Democracy
it
wins
that.
again.
If you agree with that, we should.
You Brett Ratnered the crap out of this, haven't you? Right.
We'd like some name suggestions in the comments, please. Please. So this week I brought something to the magic gadget drawer.
Well, you've taken something out of the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken something out.
Well, no, you've opened the drawer and you're
To put
holding
into the
holding it
cupboard of
above.
fame, I don't know. What,
magic
I don't know
gadget,
what it's
yeah.
meant for go. I don't-
Did we take out or put in? I don't
So I want you
understand.
to guess this device.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was released in November 1998.
Go.
Can you guess?
I thought this is-
98.
Is it a phone?
PSP.
No questions.
I think
No,
it'd be a Game Boy,
Nokia
actually.
5110.
Go on. No, it's a Game
It
Boy.
sold 119 million units.
Well, how many?
119 million.
Nokia 3210.
The screen was 160 by 144.
Motorola Razr.
You're on the wrong track there. 32 kilobits of RAM. Kilobytes, yeah.
Ooh, that's a lot.
It was powered by
Ooh,
two
ooh.
AA
Oh, no.
batteries.
Was it the Game Boy
I
Color?
was-
Game Boy Advance?
I was going to
Oh,
say
yeah,
Game Boy
yeah.
Color.
Close to that.
And he had one more clue there, which was the best-selling game of it was Pokemon Gold and Silver, which had a combined amount of
Such a great game.
40.5 million copies.
Did you just
sold.
think of this because of Tetris?
Maybe that could have been
Maybe
what it was.
like
Yeah,
little
yeah.
earworm.
He would have gone for the original Game Boy if that was the case.
That is true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which it was bundled with.
So-
fact.
Yeah.
Game Boy Color.
So
Good. Yes, absolutely. It just did
You were
everything the
passionate.
Game Boy did, but better. Like, how would you not put that in?
Okay. Why did you love it so much? There you are. That's a better question.
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Purely-
that's good enough for me.
Genuinely, Pokemon is the reason I love
Why
it.
did you love Pokemon so much?
It was the right time for me. The kind of
It
What?
was a
You're missing a
mighty
whole-
game. Pokemon.
Yeah.
it was something
especially Gold and
everyone was
Silver.
talking about in the playground. It was that kind of thing that was just incredible. Like I've never experienced a game like that before.
Yeah.
And I could just beat up monsters with other monsters.
Did you play any other games on it at all?
Not really.
Oh.
I'm,
It's
I'm
really
an
should
old,
be Pokemon. Let's be honest.
yeah, I'm old school Game Boy, so you can't beat the,
Okay.
the black and white one.
Is that a no from you? then?
Yeah,
But
it's a
you could then
definite
take those games, same games, put them in the Game Boy
Yeah.
Color, have a little bit of colour in your life.
no. I don't care.
No problem, mate.
The only
No
thing
problem.
that could
Small as
improve
well.
the old school Game Boy was the massive magnifying glass you could hook
That's
on.
I had that. That was so
Which is pretty
good.
cool.
Hugh,
That
what do
was
you
pretty
think?
cool.
Yeah, I'm absolutely for this. I love the Game Boy. I love the original Game
One
Boy,
for,
but the Game
one
Boy Color
against.
was like, it just did, like I said, it did the same but better. and I loved the funky colours that they came in. I had a lime green one, and no, it was great. Having colour on it was such a like back then that was such a big deal. It was like,
but
whoa.
in a design or in a Magic Gadget drawer, if you're looking at design, the original Game Boy is a beautiful piece of design. The Game Boy Color.
Oh no, it had the lovely back. The curve.
It's got a lovely back.
I don't want to say it's got a lovely back. But the original was. I like the original, but it was just a block. That's why it's called a brick.
Of course, it was a block.
Yeah, but the colour was like curved. It fit to your hands. Ergonomic.
It was.
It was ergonomic.
Terrible.
And it required 2 fewer batteries. So I'm all for that.
Good use of fuel.
Gareth, it's all down to you. Does the Game Boy Color make it into the Magic Gadget drawer?
So the thing is, because I'm with Checkers in terms of
This man has taste.
I had an original Game Boy. I loved it with all my heart, and I played loads of different games. Wario, Mario Land 3 was probably the best.
Brilliant, big Mario, really.
Yeah, Tetris, but I always love upgrades on stuff.
And the other thing you have to remember is
the thing is the Game Boy Color. The Game Boy Color was just outside of my kind of pocket playing thing. It was when I sort of lost a little bit of interest in computer games, but it came back again later. So I always wanted like the Game Boy Advance and that kind of thing. So
but if the argument is which is better, not which do we have most fond memories of, then surely it has to be the colour because it's just superior in every way. There was nothing it could do that the original could.
No.
So
maybe last a bit long. I don't know what the battery life comparison was like. That's the only thing I'm.
30 hours for the.
Cares?
30 hours according to Nintendo on the.
I care.
Okay, right.
I do not know.
Here's my
30 hours is a long time. I'm putting the colour in, definitely.
Here's my judgment, right? In terms of what I feel more fondness for, by far it's the original Game Boy.
Exactly.
But I'm thinking
terrible things.
I'm thinking about the Magic Gadget drawer, and I want a gadget drawer with a Game Boy and a phone in, so I'm putting it in.
Yeah.
Amazing. That drawer
the Magic Gadget drawer sucks.
You can go back to the Hall of Fame.
Cool.
Right. Brilliant. So we'll try and get something else in there next week. Yeah.
I'm glad you're presenting this.
So slick after many
We're running out of segues now.
So we just want to say that we're taking a lot of your feedback on board. If you're putting anything in the YouTube comments, we know the audio last week was really, really bad. We're trying to make some kind of improvements here.
Observe our new cross-cut thing.
We're also looking into launching on iTunes and other RSS feeds and that kind of stuff.
Very
soon. Be an actual podcast instead of just a YouTube video. But listen to us on SoundCloud as well. It's one of the best ways to get us. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook, also like us on Instagram, and be sure to visit the TechRadar site. That would be really, really nice.
And also, thank you very, very much for liking this podcast. Everyone does really
That's
count,
true as well.
And it does mean a lot to us and our parents who watch it as well.
And send us some emojis.
Which is
Send us your favourite emoji. That's what we want.
Yeah, just not this one.
This one being the smiley poo.
I'm trying to wave and say bye, guys.
Bye.